Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Rod Khleif, and I am thrilled you're here. I know you're going to enjoy the lady that we're interviewing today. She's actually a former student of mine and a wonderful personality. Her name is Alina Tregub, and she's the managing partner of SWOT Financial, which is a boutique private equity firm that helps people invest passively in real estate. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Rod. It's a pleasure to be here and good to see you, even though virtually this time. But
I know.
Enjoy being here.
We were just reminiscing before we started recording, and I think you were one of the first people to buy my course online when I first did my course. Literally one of the first. I mean, like within the first 5. And I think you even gave me feedback on it, if I recall. Now that
I did, yeah.
Taxing my limited brain capacity. I remember that now as I was saying that. And then you attended my first live boot camp in Tampa 2.5 years ago. And look where you've come now. You've done so much, and I can't wait for you to explain what you've done, because I know you're not just in multifamily, you're actually in multiple asset classes. You've raised a lot of money, been involved with a lot of deals. So tell my listeners, a little bit of your story, please.
Sure, Rod. I'd like to start by thanking you for all the work you've put into your training and for the wonderful team you've put together. I'm so grateful. I met many of your team members while I was learning, while I was going through the training, and have been in touch with them even ever since, especially Robert. I really like the guy.
Oh yeah, Robert and I are a great team. I'm the mouthpiece, and he dots the I's, crosses the T's, and loves the spreadsheet.
Yeah, and I'm truly grateful for the training you put together and the team that was supporting me throughout my journey when I was starting out with syndication.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Alina Tregub. I started my company about 2.5 years ago, and the reason for that was simply because I wanted to help other people to find a way to passively invest in real estate, just like I did that earlier, about 6 or 7 years before that, when I was starting out my real estate investing journey and was looking for ways to invest in real estate. And when I started out, I started looking locally where I live in New York, New Jersey, as you can see, area. Mm-hmm. But everything is too expensive here. I couldn't find anything. So through my research, I came across the syndications way of investing, and it piqued my interest. I started doing the research and deeper, and then realized that that was the type of investing I wanted to do myself. So I invested in one and then another, and then kind of the trickle down effect came in. And when I realized that it was a great way to invest, and it was a way to help other people to do the same thing without any interruption to their day-to-day life, I decided to take action and start my company. And that's how SWOT Financial has been born. And we've been doing really well by helping folks to invest, like you said, not only in multifamily, but we've also expanded our portfolio to diversify into other asset classes, such as mobile home parks and storages. And
self-storage.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I was reading your bio. And you've been involved in 1,200 doors in the multifamily space. You've been involved with a $10 million fund in the self-storage space, $10 million fund in the mobile home park space, which is really interesting. But let's stick with multifamily, because that's really the tenor of my show.
Sure.
But I think, before we started recording, we talked about some topics that you're very knowledgeable about, that you could add value with and the first one maybe is creating partnerships, because we all know this is a team sport.
Yep.
And you're only as good as the team, and really to maximize the opportunities in this space, you need an incredible team. So maybe you could speak to that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, partnerships are created by meeting people and really establishing and working in a relationship with these people. And these can be compared to marriage, more or less. When you're looking to marry someone, you have to take time to spend time with them to see whether it's a good fit for you or not. That, you know, it's not created overnight. The same applies to partnerships, and whether it's a partnership where every partner is general partner, or whether you're entering into a partnership as a limited partner and want to invest with someone, you have to be very careful. You have to spend some time doing due diligence, researching your potential partners, reading about them, and then getting on a phone or meeting in person and asking them questions, really making it into a conversation. And when I started out as a limited partner, for instance, so I started by getting on a call with potential operators that I wanted to invest with, and really talking to them about the asset classes they were investing in, about the markets and the investments that they were offering, just to learn more about their strategy, what they were planning to do and how they were planning to implement that strategy, and to hear what they wanted to say, and to make sure that the strategy they had in mind was in alignment with what I had in mind. And essentially, if they were saying that, hey, I want to buy this asset and we'll probably hold it for 7 to 10 years, you know, that I wanted to make sure that's what I want to do. Because, you know, I don't want to go into asset knowing that the syndicator is looking to, let's say, flip it in a year, because maybe it fits for one person investment goals. It didn't fit my personal investment goals. So conversations like this should be happening, and not just one, essentially several, to make sure that you get to know the person and you're in alignment with them, and this is someone you trust and you want to proceed with and move forward. So
that's great feedback. Great feedback. And I was just looking here. I've created a couple of resources that I want to give you guys for free that relate to this topic. One is, you know, and like Alina said, whenever you are getting into a partnership, it's like a marriage, easy to get into, hard to get out of. And I created this resource, which is a list of questions you should ask when forming a partnership, and it's free. Just text the word partnership to 41411, and it's all the hard questions. You know, what values the most to you? What do you hope our business looks like? If someone gets hurt or sick, what happens? If somebody dies, what's our goals? Who's going to do what? And you really want to dig into not just these questions, but research who it is you're considering. Look at their work ethic, because I will tell you, I've been in many partnerships, and who do you think does most of the work with knowing what you know about my energy and my passion? And so it's important that you really, now I can say with Robert, he works his butt off, and he probably works as hard or harder than I do for sure. But that's so important. And you know, how are you going to communicate? What roles are you going to play? So again, partnership to 41411. I'll get you this free resource, and these, because you got to ask the hard questions up front. I will tell you, I did a live stream boot camp, about a month ago, and I had 900 people on it, and I had some panels, and there were a couple of super large investors in that group. Well, a lot of large investors. Everyone on the panel was a large investor, but two of the big ones had partnership breakups. And because they didn't ask the hard questions up front. And so very, very important. So besides the research and asking all the hard questions up front so you know you're aligned, I would also tell you real quick is to play to your strengths, okay? And so like Alina, you are great at raising equity and talking to investors. So, that's your strength, and that's what you bring to a relationship, with seasoned operators. Let's talk about the investor relations part of this, how you go about establishing a relationship. Maybe, I know that you're also the host of 2 meetups, right? So
Yep.
That's certainly a great resource for you to meet people. But maybe you could speak around all that a little bit. Let's start with those relationships and just go from there.
Sure, absolutely. So again, when it comes to relationship building, it takes a very long time to have the person on the other end to trust you. And you don't necessarily have to be doing anything specific. You have to be yourself. But you also need to show that you're transparent. You need to show that you have the track record, and you have the team that can perform and can perform up to the investor's expectation. And essentially that's done by bringing value to other people. Rod, you mentioned my meetups. So what I try to do with my meetups is bring as much value to folks as possible. And my meetups are called The Power of Passive Investing. And even though a lot of topics are around syndications and how to passively invest, I try to bring presenters that can help people be well-rounded in general and can support them in other ways. For example, you're going to like this one, Rod. I had a mindset coach earlier this year when we were still in person. The session was incredible. Everyone loved her. She did a phenomenal job. And people came out with a bunch of homework assignments from her. It was incredible. So stuff like that only happens by hearing what people have to say. So I try to help out the folks in my groups in any way I can. And while not everyone is passive investor or syndicator, that we have flippers, we have people that buy single family houses here local in Jersey. I hear what people are looking for, and I hear and I see how I can add value, and I try to do that in any way I can. So meetups are about building the community, helping others, and really showing people that you're about bringing value and helping them as much as possible. And
How long have you done your meetups, Alina?
About 2 years.
2 years. Wow. And so let me add something, guys. So there's so many ways that you can create reach. I just interviewed a guy earlier that gave all sorts of feedback on how to do a platform on LinkedIn. Of course, I've used the podcast. My YouTube videos got watched 30,000 hours last year, which blows my mind. But there's so many places, Facebook. But meetups, a lot of my students have started meetup groups, and very, very successfully. In fact, a lot of the big operators that I interview on my podcast with thousands of doors, that's how they got going. And so, there's a couple of keys. The one you hit on, you must focus on adding value. You're going there to give. And so that's number one. But the second thing, which is the reason I asked you how long you've been doing it, is consistency. You have to be consistent. And so if you're going to post in LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or do a meetup, you've got to be consistent with it. Podcast. I mean, I will tell you the last 2 weeks, I've agonized about it. I've been late by a day posting my podcast episodes. And it's the first time since I started 2.5 years ago that I'm at 8 million downloads that I was late. And I agonized about it because that consistency is so important. So, and the beautiful thing about Alina, doing a meetup like this is, even if you're not an expert yet, you can bring in experts, and by virtue of the fact that you're the host, you're acting as if you fake it till you make it almost. Now I know you're an expert now, Alina, but when you first started, you weren't. And so it's such a great way to position yourself and build a brand and add value. And of course, it's resulted in your case and anybody that does it, lots of deals and investors. So because you focused on them, you focused on adding value.
I couldn't agree more with you, Rod, in terms of consistency. I think with anything, any business or any type of investing, if you're not consistent, if you're looking for deals, if you're not consistently calling brokers or calling homeowners, you're not going to get anywhere. Only by sticking true to the course and having that grit in you, you will be able to get results. And completely agree. Same applies to meetups or any sort of social media platform you leverage. You have to be on it. You have to constantly be bringing value.
Well, I know you've worked this a long time. Like I said, long time, 2.5 years. It's not that long, but for me, it's long because that's when I first started doing, my training, and it's such a treat to have you on. And so let me ask you this. There are a lot of people that listen to my show that haven't done anything yet, and there are lots of ways to get into this business. Like again, you did it by building relationships and equity raising. Can you speak to that a little bit about, well, first of all, I'd like you to give them some inspiration, but then maybe we could talk about the different ways someone can get into this multifamily investing business. But talk about, what would you tell those people that haven't taken action yet? What advice would you give them?
I think it's very important, and I think you're going to like it, to start with your own mindset. You have to be open to the idea that you can do it. And instead of saying, I don't have the money, I cannot do it, or I have 5 kids and a full-time job, you need to ask yourself, how can I do it? Where can I find the time? What are the ways that I can come up with the money? Or what skills do I have that I can bring to the deal? You don't have to be good with numbers. I mean, in my case, for instance, yes, I'm a former accountant. I am good with numbers, or, I like talking to people. But let me tell you something. I was probably, when I started investing in real estate 7 years ago, I was probably the shyest person in the room. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I would sit in the back, in a corner, avoiding looking at people's faces altogether. But everything happens for a reason. And the more I was going to these meetups, the more I was talking to people, I realized that not every single person in the room is an expert. You have to keep talking to people. You have to open up, and you have to find the ways to bring value to others. You don't have to be an expert in all fields, but if you're expert in one field, then maybe someone else is an expert in another. And Brad, as you said, you have to find the match. To find partnership, you need to find people with matching skills. Someone who went to business school, I call it SWOT analysis. So what I do SWOT analysis with people by looking at their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities, and threat, and matching it against mine. And then I see, where does that match happen?
Okay, I want to slow you down, because you just dropped some incredible information. So again, she did that very fast. Whenever you're analyzing a business, when you're going to buy or when you want to improve, a common methodology is to do that SWOT analysis, and you're looking at the strengths of the business, the weaknesses of the business, the opportunities associated with the business, and if there are any threats associated with the business. So you're doing the same thing when you're looking at an operator or aligning with someone. Yes, is that
Correct.
what you're saying?
Or aligning with someone in any, I mean, whether it's an operator or whether it's a joint venture partnership, anything. I always try to align and see what capabilities and what is the skill set that the other person has or doesn't have, and where is that match? Is there a match? And then the alignment and strategy is also very, very important. Are we aligned in our long-term goals? That's also a critical component.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're going to partner with someone, guys, and you guys have heard me say this before, you want to be playing to your strengths, and they should be playing to their strengths. And hopefully those strengths are complementary. Like with Robert and I used to be introverted like you, and I'd like to circle back to that for a minute in a second, but I'm not anymore. Obviously, I speak in front of thousands of people a year now, but Robert is the numbers guy. He's a CPA like you, and done $1.5 billion worth of deals. And so we're perfectly aligned. And, I did an interview. I don't know if you heard it, Alina. You said you listened to some of my recent podcasts. I had these young guys on in their 20s. There were 3 of them. And I think I called it Young Rock Stars or something, whatever. But all 3 of them, well, there was about 70 million in assets between them, which was very impressive. But all 3 of them were partnerships between an analytical person and an outgoing person. Now I want to circle back to you, because you're obviously super analytical and you push through that. And I have a lot of analytical listeners that are like, oh my God, to start a relationship. And you remember, you probably don't remember this, it's been 2.5 years from my first live event, but I make people stand up and meet each other and get to know each other. And we did that actually. We didn't do it on my live stream, or did we? No, we didn't do it on a live stream, but we just did it with our Warrior group. We had a 2-day event for my mentorship students, and we made everybody network, groups of 6. We had to do it on Zoom, of course. By the way, have you taken your meetup virtual, or how are you doing it now?
I have, I've taken it virtual. We're now doing virtual. It's obviously not the same, but with the new features of breakout rooms, it's possible to network now. So it's awesome.
Nice.
It's really helpful. Nice. But I actually like that approach when you made everyone get up and start networking. It kind of reminded of, I know you'll appreciate that, Tony Robbins, because I went to Tony's event roughly around like 1.5 years or so ago. It was incredible, but it reminded me very much of the experience that you shared with us.
Sure. Yeah. And of course you're hugging people there and giving people
massaging.
Back rubs and
I know,
and I'm sure you, Ellie, had to stretch yourself, because here's a person that used to be in the corner of the room, wouldn't even make face contact, and you're giving people a massage. Yeah, no, it's a real stretch for people, but look where you are now, and the growth that, and Alina, I know I've been a little gushy with you because I'm just so impressed with, because I remember that person, that introverted personality when we first met, and just incredible progress
Thank you, Rod.
and the things that you've done. And so for the people that are like you used to be, introverted like that, what advice would you give them?
I think it's important for them to start by working on their personal development and reading such books as Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins,
Tony's, yeah.
Miracle Morning, 5-Second Rule by what's her name, Mel Robbins. I don't think she's associated with Tony, but those books are incredible. And what's great about Amazon is like once you hit those books, it'll start suggesting other books in the same area. But you have to constantly work on your mindset. If you don't work on your mindset, you're not going to be able to open up opportunity to many of the things that are in front of you. A lot of doors are closed now just because shy people, they're narrow-minded. And that's how I was, some recent time ago. I was narrow-minded. I cannot do this. This is not me. That's not my cup of tea. So you have to open that mind and give a try to that cup of tea and see, maybe you like it. And, if not, like you said, Robert is analytical, you are very social, and you guys found the match. Same way people can find the match by networking with others and by opening up to others and by letting others know what skill set do they have and what can they bring to the table. And it's really important to start working on that. And obviously education is the second thing. Once you're able to open up your mindset, the second thing is educating yourself, working on learning about multifamily, syndications, or whatever other real estate investing niche you want to work on. That's really critical. That's
good advice, and which is why I spend so much time on mindset in my training. And a little quick plug, we are having another 2-day event. I had 900 people pay for my last one, and it was incredible. 2-day live stream boot camp, and I'm having another one. I'm not selling anything. It's July 25th and 26th, I believe. It's multifamilyvirtualbootcamp.com. It's $97, guys. Come on, for 16 hours of me training. If you can't, that's less than an expensive meal. But anyway, it's multifamilyvirtualbootcamp.com or text ROD live to 41411 and we'll see you there in July. But so
guys, you will not be disappointed if you go get this boot camp. I can personally vouch for Rod. I've been to his training. Like I said, I bought his online training, and I've been to his live boot camp. Obviously, it's better than virtual, but right now, virtual is as good as it gets. And you don't need to buy any tickets to fly anywhere or get hotels. It's excellent, and you're just going to get a ton of great value from it. Definitely, highly recommend it.
Thank you. Yeah. I have to ask you this because you are so driven and you push through your fear. What drives you?
My family. It really, it's a huge factor for me. Just like you, I immigrated here. I was slightly older than you were when I immigrated. I was in my 20s, and I went to college and everything. Same with my husband. He's an immigrant, but because I wanted to succeed, and I had to go through a lot of challenges while going to school and paying for everything myself and stuff. I don't want my kids to go through the same challenges. So whatever I can do for my family to avoid having any challenges like I went through is what makes me get up every morning. And
how old are your children? Are they grown or are they still in the house?
Somewhat, yeah. I have a high schooler and a middle schooler.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Well, listen, Alina, I really appreciate you being on the show. You've added tremendous value, and it's such a treat to see you after all this time. And I'm sure that our paths will cross again at some point in the near future. But thank you for coming on and adding some value.
Thank you, Rod. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411.